Push-pull legs has been around for the longest period of time, and is a very, very good split. It's one I've ran for myself for a very, very long period of time. I actually was doing push-pull legs ×2 with one rest day for the longest period of time. But you know what? Looking back, I actually don't think it was the right split for me. And it may not be for you either, and this is why I thought I'd make a video on it, because it's a very good split. It is an absolute very good split. And in terms of growing you from like a pebble to a boulder, it will definitely work. That said, there may come a time where you've been training for a good 2 years and you've ran push-pull leg for the longest period of time. Now, not everyone has earned the right to do this, but you may well have done. If you've been training for that long period of time, and you've always found that you've found it more difficult to put density onto your arms, maybe your delts, then your split you want to do may be a little bit different. Now, for me personally, it's always been more of a challenge to put tissue onto my pecs and my arms specifically. They've always been the hardest parts for me to grow. My legs blow up very easily. Like, I'll show you a video, like I used to, around this time here, I was back squatting like 195 for 1 rep. Nice. No cares who used to back squat, mate, but I just thought I'd get that out there. The point I'm making is it's always been easy for me to move a lot of load and to grow my legs in general. Very, very easy. Like, don't have an issue with it. Only stand at 173 centimeters, so I was built for squatting. I really was. However, doesn't really interest me walking around with, and for the longest time this was the case, especially in the military, it was useful, where I'd have thick, strong, chunky legs, and my upper body was just not that well developed at all. So I was like thicker down below like a fucking chick than I was in the upper body, and it wasn't really the look I was after. So you doing 2 leg days a week is absolutely ludicrous. You do not need that much amount of volume if your goal is an upper body aesthetic physique, obviously. But for the longest of time, I always thought, can't be doing arm day, you can't be doing chest day, you can't be doing bro way of training. I must do this push-pull legs, well-balanced split. I must give my legs a lot of attention, because I feel like the joke was, you can't skip leg day, and that was the joke, and people used to skip leg day and just focus on their arms and chest, and that was like I feel like that was the guy where it was like he kind of didn't really know what he was doing about training, and he just like did it all for like look, and I wanted biceps and chest and that, when in reality I think he probably had it right all along. Like, so I personally went down the route of like training everything, focusing on deadlifts, like walking lunges, like all the hard, strong man exercises, which they're cool, they're nice, but in a weird way, they might just be a waste of time, and dare I say, a big waste of energy, because they're hard, big, taxing movements. If you've done a couple of bulks and you're looking at your physique and you're like, I've put some muscle on, nice, everywhere I've put some muscle on, but I'm looking at certain areas where I'm like, if that muscle area grew, my life would be so much better. And that would probably be the case. Like for me, if my chest and arms get bigger, my life would be so much better. I'm pretty happy with the way my back sits. I'm very happy with the way my legs sit. But if my chest and arms got bigger, I'd definitely be happier, 100%. I'd be fucking buzzing, I'd be tensing all the time. So it may be worth looking at your physique, seeing where the weaker areas are, and actually starting to piece together your program. May actually be time to have an international chest day on a Monday for yourself, where you do 5 exercises and you just fully send it, and you get the biggest chest pump in the world. You may actually be ready to train arms twice a week, giving them their own day, when people would think that's absolutely ludicrous. The split I'm running at the minute, and I've been running for at least since January now, and it's worked very, very well. Seen a nice amount of progress in those weaker areas. The split I'll run is just chest on its own, because my back is it's something that grows quite nicely. So just chest. Then we've got legs. Then we've got arms and delts. Then we'll rest. Then we'll run chest and back, so chest gets 2 complete days, and back gets 1, legs gets 1. And then we'll run 1 more arms and delts day. So I'm training arms and delts twice per week. In them arms and delt sessions, I'm doing 3 bicep exercises, 3 sets apiece. 3 tricep exercises, 3 sets apiece. 2 delt exercises with a set of 2 and a set of 3, and then some forearm curls as well, just to add some focus on there. Because again, forearms, as you can see, has not really been a massive growth area for me either. So the arms is getting that twice over. So at least 9 times 9, 18 direct sets every time we train the bicep and the triceps. That's without any indirect work from pressing and pulling. Because I personally, for me, where people used to say, oh, you train your biceps when you pull and you push, I'm like, same for your triceps, you push, you train your triceps. For me, it never really worked because my arms were just not big. So I like that like indirect tension never really worked for me. And the better I got at training, the more I understood to train at my chest, I need to drive my bicep towards my pec. So obviously, of course, my triceps are being used. But if you're thinking drive bicep to pec, you're not thinking push load from tricep. You're thinking just bring the humerus towards the pecs. Therefore, you're using the pecs more. If you're trying to train your lats, you're not pulling the load from your hand and bending your elbow joint and hitting the brunt of the bicep. You're dragging your elbow to your hip because the lats, again, attached onto the humerus. So you think you just pull that elbow into the hip to shorten the lat. Therefore, your elbow joint might not even fully close up if you do it correctly. Therefore, you're not getting a load of tension on the biceps. So for me personally, the better I got at training my chest and my back, the more I had to give my arms its own specific day and specific attention. Exercises that I found work very, very well for growing my bicep has been the basic standing barbell curl. Not with an actual 20 kilo bar, more with those bars in the gym that are already made up, where they've got the weights on them, just because of sometimes if they're so fucking long, they're just like an absolute nose. I find them better to be shorter and concentrated together. But you could use an EZ bar. For triceps, something that's working very, very well for me, but I would say you need a training partner to do this one, is an overhead cable tricep extension. But don't use the rope and don't do it standing. If you use the rope, there's a lot of movement like this. If you do it standing, everything else has to brace. However, if you can put a bench behind, lie back on the bench like I'm sat in this chair, and use a bar where that's stiff, you can move a lot more load through the triceps. So those two exercises I found to be very, very good in terms of packing on some good amount of tissue and density. When it comes to training chest, with it being a weaker area, main focus is, first of all, goes onto the flat press. Move as much load as humanly possible, track and record that religiously, and make sure you're getting stronger. I run a top set and a back off set on this, so heavy 6 to 10, of which we now go up to the 50s for 8, and then the back off set, drop it by 20%. I'm on 42s with that, and where we're getting like 13. You'll find that it'll get to the point where to get an extra rep on the top set is very, very difficult because of the sheer distance it now needs to travel. So your back off set, get an extra rep on there. That's how you're going to creep a bit more tissue on to then move that extra rep. Then I'm going into a incline machine press, then a flat machine press, then flies, and then a pec deck as well. So absolutely obliterating the chest on one of the days. So it may be that you need to look at your back, and your back needs twice the attention. Your chest is all right. So you might need to run a sole back day and then a chest and back day. It might be that your delts are not that good, and that you would actually just serve you to focus on 2 specific delt days. Maybe you could do delts and arms, but if your arms are in a good space, bring down the volume and bring up the volume on the delts to bring those up. Look at your physique and then create the program off that, and be okay with it being different to other people's. Be okay with training legs once a week. You may have really, really good legs, and you may only need to train them once every 10 days, so once every second week, if you will, actually. It may be that you want to train it like that. It's different. And they called it personal training because it's personal to you. So look at your physique and see where are the weaker areas and where does it need to be brought up. Now, that said, if you do, if any guys that ever come to me in the Gorilla Platoon, I'll always look at their physique, and very first, I'll say to them, we need to turn you from a pebble to a boulder. So a split of push-pull legs, rest day, chest and back arms and delts is a good split I generally put most people on, and you spoke to, I've mentioned this on the channel many of times, if you can train 5 days, because that is a good split for turning you into a boulder. But after, we want to be a little bit more selective in the way we piece together your training plan. And I think you're going to find a lot of excitement when you do that, because you're going to look at your weaker areas, see them start to come up, see them start to improve, and see your physique start to get a lot more balanced. I'm pretty happy with the way mine's starting to look now. We're starting to get thicker across the arms and the delts and the pecs. It's giving me more density in that upper frame. Now, I'm not saying I will never really go all in on legs ever again, but what I am saying is just bring up your weaker areas. And that should be your metaphor for life, because you'll have areas of your life where if you actually improve them by 20%, your life would be significantly better. And you've got other areas in your life which you're already killing it in, that you moving the needle forward is not going to make you much more happy. If you looked at your life in terms of health, wealth, relationships, you may already have a real sick social life, great partner, good, even good kids. And that may not be the thing. So going out every weekend may not actually serve you. It may serve you to get your health in great order. Or your health may be very, very good, and you get an extra, like, 2 pounds of muscle is probably not really going to serve you, but you going out and being a sociable motherfucker and, like, making very good friends and relationships, that might actually really increase your life. Like, so look at your life like you look at your physique. Where are the weaker areas? What needs to come up? And don't be afraid for a season of your life to go all in on those specific things. Now, you may think, oh, but what about the other areas I've worked so hard to build up? Put them on what's known as the minimum effective dose so they don't regress. Have you ever heard of Tim Ferriss in the 4-Hour Work Week? He talks about this, and he talks about it in the 4-Hour Body as well. He talks about this concept. It's the minimum effective dose so it doesn't regress. So it's a once-a-week leg session. It's a once-a-week back session. It's a once-a-week fucking social with the friends. The rest of the time is spent on health. It's a fucking 3-day full body split to maintain the muscle you've done and eating at maintenance, so you can then focus your time and effort on your business, on whatever else it is. Look at your life like you look at your physique, and push-pull legs may not be the split for you. And hopefully, if you found this video of value, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you tomorrow.